In this week's video, I showed you how responsive wild fish are to fish flakes. I also mentioned that feeding bread to fish, turtles, and birds is bad for them and for the environment. In this video, I'll explain why. Bread is a great source of carbohydrates, but it offers little nutritional value for fish, turtles, and birds. Feeding them bread is like feeding them candy. It will eventually lead to excessive weight gain and malnutrition in addition to other health problems. Of course, in moderation, it won't have a long-term effect, but it's very difficult to moderate the diet of a wild animal. In addition to the health problems, here are some other issues that it causes. Malnutrition of babies. Just like us, fish, turtles, and birds get full-on bread. Once they eat the bread, they will not be hungry, nor will they try to forage for food that they would normally eat that will get them the nutrients that they need. If these baby fish, turtles, and birds only eat bread while they're growing, they will likely not live for very long due to malnutrition. Overcrowding. If the fish, turtles, and birds know that there is a food source that is abundant, they will make that area their home. This can make the ecosystem in those areas overrun by the most dominant species. And since this species is being fed humanly altered food, they can become a diseased group of species, which if they leave that area and then reproduce with the same species in other areas, can have a very negative effect on that species as a whole. Pollution. Uneaten bread, specifically, can lead to unwanted algae growth. This algae tends to overgrow everything else in the area, which can result in a lack of natural food source for the animals that are living in that area. We've already seen the negative effects of different types of invasive algae that are caused by excess nutrients in a body of water, and they are not pretty. Moldy bread can also cause lung issues for birds and other mammals in the area. Disease. When birds consume bread, it causes them to defecate often, especially from birds that hang out near water. Eventually, will create a breeding ground for disease. For fish and turtles, the bread will expand in their intestinal tract and cause them to become constipated. If they are unable to pass the bread will expand in their intestinal tract and cause them to become constipated. Human imprinting. When an animal is dependent on a human for their food source, they get lazy. They won't go back to eating natural food. They will just look for people to feed them. This can upset the ecosystem where they live. For example, certain species of plants can overgrow the area if the fish, turtles, and birds are not consuming them at their natural rate. This can cause all kinds of problems for the ecosystem in that area. So in short, if you absolutely want to feed a wild animal, make sure that you're feeding them something of nutritional value. Also, you want to make sure that they eat all of it and they don't leave any excess behind. Pace yourself and don't just throw a whole bunch of food to them. Now, I totally get that it's a cool experience to interact with a wild animal and see them up close, but we as a species need to be more mindful of how our actions are affecting our environment. This is just one simple way to do that.